Hello and welcome to the Elevating Property Management Podcast. I am Colin Douthit and I am here today with Austin Linney. How are you doing today, Austin?
Doing great, my man. Thank you so much.
I'm super excited to have you here. And for those of you who don't know, here at the Elevating Property Management Podcast, we are looking to discuss property management with other investors all across real estate, other property managers, to see how we can take property management to the next level, continue to make it a professional business, a professional profession, and just take it to the next level so that we can help bring value to investors. So Austin is an accomplished investor and has a variety of experience across real estate. So Austin, welcome. And can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Thanks for having me on, man. Just so everybody knows, this is the first one. So we'll lube it up here. It's funny because I started my podcast in April. Now don't follow me because I'm crazy, but we're releasing our 100th episode already next week. So it's insane, but I've learned so much from that. So guys, about me, I've spent the better part of my life in hospitality, selling wine, liquor, hotels, high end. And when I was 17, I got handed the book, the book everybody talks about, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, because a friend's dad who was an entrepreneur said, you're a little different. He goes, just read this one. My dad was a doctor. My dad is a dentist, high level dentist. Yep. And it really took me to a different mindset, because I was like, how am I ever going to be a doctor? I don't want to be a doctor. I don't want to go to school. I don't like school. It took me a long time to execute on those. But what we started doing is we traveled a bunch with Airbnb, and we said, we like this. This matches our lifestyle. I think we can do this. Mm-hmm. And so we literally started out with a mattress on the ground in the first house we bought. Which that eventually scaled up to 27 properties in 7 states. Now, guys, I will preference, we did not own 27 properties. I own like 4. We managed them for other people. And there's so many aspects of managing Airbnb, because you're not only having to handle the client, you're having to handle the guest. You're basically running a hotel. And there's a lot of stories I can share in there that are going to really blow people away about how to not do stuff.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, no, that's great. I think, with Airbnb or any sort of hospitality, we all learn through taking our knocks and getting some really interesting stories, because people are people at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's funny, right? We, especially when we're new, and I want to make sure this is a very important part. I do believe that when you get started, you have to do everything, because you have to know the aspects of it. So if somebody's taking advantage of you, you can call them out on it, or you can see where the deficiencies are. That being said, when I got up to 3 properties myself before I scaled out of the States, out of Texas, I was working 2 full-time jobs, cleaning 3 Airbnbs, and managing them all myself at the same time. So I was cleaning toilets at 3 a.m., 5 a.m., 10 o'clock at night, everywhere, because I was so greedy and I thought I was saving so much money. I was like, this is so great. And I had a call with my mentor, and we went over the year and we priced out how much I saved on cleaning fees with all that work I did. And it was $2 an hour.
Oh man.
And I almost threw up. I was like, that made me so depressed, because you feel like you're making the difference, but you're not really looking at it, because is that the highest and best use of your time? Mm-hmm. And the reason I want to hit this home is one of my coaching clients, because I coach real estate investors, left his W-2 job, went out and flipped and bought some buy and holds. I think he's up to like 16 units right now in Kentucky, Indiana. And just yesterday, he hired a property management company. He texted me and he said, man, I feel like I could buy another 50 right now, when he was already feeling at his max. And so when you get the right property management and they're in conjuncture with you, you truly can scale up to ridiculous numbers of units, because you're removing that part of that's taking up so much of your time.
No, that's 100% true. And it's learning where to delegate that becomes really, it allows you to scale as an investor, and even as a business owner as well. And so I learned that as I started acquiring my own units. I was self-managing, had the W-2 job, got fired, scaled the real estate portfolio. I was doing everything, right? I was doing the cleanings, the repairs. And as I started to add staff, I started to see how I could then scale, take on third-party management, and really just grow it, which I'm sure that as an Airbnb manager as well, sort of saw the same thing for other investors.
Yeah, it's something that my mentor told me, is that you have to earn the right to hire the property management company.
Yeah.
Meaning you got to do the work
Mm-hmm.
necessary to get you to a point where you've set them up for success
Mm-hmm.
to do good, right? But here's what's really important. I heard this the other day. I interviewed a guy, an amazing dude out of Utah, Justin Monk, and he said that he has bought properties in Ohio he's never seen.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason is he has 4 people on his team, can check each other. But something I want to make very clear, he's got a contractor, an agent, a property management company, and then the renter, right?
Mm-hmm.
Those are the 4 people that check the property. But understand this is the number one thing people don't get. Each one of those people in that group have a different view of how the property is supposed to look.
Yeah, exactly.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The contractor just wants to finish. He's not seeing the things that the renters will see. So the most important person on that team is the property management company.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody hates her because she says this is not going to work for the renter, because everybody has a different view of the property and what it's supposed to look like. She is looking at it from the eyes of a renter. And so she is the most important person on the team. So when you have these people, you don't need to travel across the country, right, to access these properties if you hire a trusted team like your team in Kansas City, and so on and so on. So it's a very important part I wanted to hit with everybody.
No, I think you bring up a great point there. And we have numerous customers that are out of state. Some have never seen the properties that they bought over a year ago with us that we've been managing. Some have seen it once. They toured it right before right when they went under contract, and haven't seen it since then. So being able to be the boots on the ground. And property management is an interesting industry because we have 2 customers. We have owners and we have tenants. You kind of play the middleman. You were saying that with Airbnb. Let's kind of talk about bringing value to both sides. So as a Airbnb property manager, what can you do to bring value to both sides, and how can that also translate to traditional multifamily?
One of the greatest things I've ever heard, it really changed. I heard it about 6 months ago, and it changed the way I viewed everything. If you're going to be an Airbnb owner or operator or manager, or an apartment manager, property manager, single family manager, respect the fact you're a manager. And what I mean by that is respect the fact that you're a landlord.
Mm-hmm.
And understand that the way I look at it is as simple as this. A lot of the people that we had were from Europe or China or somewhere else, right? Do you know how long it takes to save up money to take a trip to Carlsbad, California, and rent my ridiculously expensive house? So I would hope that I would walk through the property and the experience of the customer if it was me spending that money.
Mm-hmm.
And understanding that, and something, look, I'm going to call myself out. Look, you wanted stories, I'll give you a story. I got 2 of them that are huge. So I had a property in San Antonio that we didn't have keys for the property because we bought it with an electric lock, and my business partner had the keys and he went traveling. So I didn't have keys to the house, but it's okay because we had the keypad.
Mm-hmm.
But what people kept doing is they kept locking it from the inside when they left out of habit, and I didn't have any keys. So I kept getting calls at 12 o'clock at night, and I would have to crawl through the window that we would get, right? This happened like 7 times, and here I am bitching and moaning, and guess whose fault it was?
Your fault.
My fault.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because look, if you get the same problem twice on a property, then you need to fix it. And what is it, a $10 lock I could have fixed?
Yeah.
But yet I wasn't in the mindset yet to understand that let's blame the tenant instead of taking complete ownership.
Mm-hmm.
So if a problem continues to persist, then we might need to reassess the problems of the property, right? And I don't think enough people, they want to blame the tenant. And look, sometimes it is the tenant. You have a crazy tenant.
Yeah.
But it's also on you if you see those warning signs when you're vetting them to rent in the first place. You need to stop it right there. So who do you have to blame but yourself?
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah, if we place a bad tenant, we have a recurring issue. We have to look introspectively to say, okay, what can I do? How can I refine our system, our processes to
Mm-hmm.
prevent this from happening again?
100%, because in life, and that's not always the case, but in life, if you live your life off that aspect, I think that you'll get a lot further along, because you remove yourself from being a problem person to a solution oriented person,
Hmm. Yes,
right? And
absolutely.
everything is a learning experience. And I think we as property owners need to understand that, because I'll tell you something that's always important. I've got a buddy who does cost segregation. We don't need to cover that on this thing. You know what it means.
Yeah.
It's another time, another topic, right? But these aspects of real estate investing, title company, property management, cost segregation, financial wealth planning,
Hmm.
these are the things that never get talked about, because flipping and wholesaling has big numbers and it's more attractive. But these avenues, meaning these people, are the way to actually find deals. When I looked at property, when I worked in private equity, you know where we got all our big construction development deals from?
Property management.
Lawyers,
Lawyers, really? Okay.
because they handle big accounts.
Yeah.
But nobody sees that, right? Because we always look at the flash, right? But what
Hmm.
you do is truly a soup to nuts evaluation of a property and its operator, right? So that allows you to see technically,
Hmm.
which is a business, that a property is a business from the inside out.
Yeah, no, it is. And, you know, bringing in those operators, those business people to help take care of it is where you can find, you know, find the weak points within the property, help improve the property at the end of the day, and
Mhm.
manage the property
Because I'll
out.
tell you something right now, and tell me if I'm wrong or not. I don't operate the same business you do, but I do this in Airbnb.
Yeah.
You can plan for 30 days and find every little issue in the property, and I guarantee you that your guest will find that thing that you missed. It's I'm undefeated. Tell me I'm wrong.
No, no, you are 100% correct on that. We have post-construction, move-out inspections, everything like that, move-in inspections, and, you know, it seems to never fail within the first 30 days that a tenant moves in that they've got maintenance requests, because there's something, no matter how much you try, there's always one detail that until you live in a place that you won't notice.
And something that's very important, dude, it almost destroyed me. And I'm trying to be as transparent as possible. It almost killed me. When we scaled up on the Airbnb to 20 to 26 units in 7 states, I was getting 60 to 95 messages a day. A day.
That's a
This
lot.
was at 9 o'clock at night, 1 in the morning, 11 o'clock. My now ex-wife, my wife at the time, said, "You look like you're going to hurt somebody." And I go, "I am, because I can't even breathe without getting the message."
Mhm.
But hear me out. It's because I let the business run me. I didn't run the business.
Mhm.
It wasn't until I set the tone and the parameters on when I would be answering the phone and created an abundant mindset instead of scarcity that those stopped.
Mhm.
And after 9:30, unless there's a fire or somebody's dying, I'll deal with it in the morning. And guess what? The moment that I set those parameters, guess how many messages I got after that time?
None.
None.
Yeah. Yeah, if you keep if you allow them to control that part of the relationship, they will. And, you know, I value our investors, and I value our relationship with our investors, and I have good relationships with all of them, frankly. And, you know, I'm in Central Time Zone, so people on the West Coast, you know, they're like, oh well, it's 4:30. I'll give Colin a call because I want to chat about something. I just have to say, listen, guys, I appreciate the call. I'll be glad to talk to you tomorrow, but, you know, this is family time right now, right? So we have to be able to segregate that 100%.
And I think your clients would respect you more for that than the other way around, don't you
Hmm.
believe?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And they've been completely receptive of it. And as soon as I started saying, "Hey guys," like, or shoot them a text, "Hey, I'm at dinner. I'll call you after everybody's in bed, or I'll call you tomorrow," and they're like, "Oh great, just whenever you get a chance." It's not a fire, right? Nothing's
Mhm.
flooding. So you manage 26 units across 7 states. How did you remotely manage this? Like, this is something I got to
Dude, right now you just said it again and I got chills again. I was like, "Ugh." Dude, I tell you what, I don't want to dip too far in the story, but real story, I'm giving everybody the dirt. We did 7 units, start to finish, furnished and listed online in 3 states in 5 days. I sat in my minivan that I rented in Raleigh, North Carolina, and cried for an hour and a half because I was so mentally exhausted. I was sleeping on the floor. I was setting the unit up myself. They were doing it in California. One was in Texas because we were too greedy with the business and we felt scarcity that we didn't set the tone with the expectations for our clients.
Okay.
Instead of just saying yes, right? But really what it was, I joined my first mastermind. I had 3 units at the time before this business.
Okay.
And I was dying. I mean, I was like, but I joined the mastermind and I got around people that got me out of my comfort zone. I got around people that were higher and doing bigger things than me. Some guys had 18 Airbnbs, some had 32. One guy had 130. And I was like, what the hell? How the hell are you doing this? And they go, I'm going to ask you a question. Are you manually responding to the guests? And I was like, well, yeah. And he goes, that's dumb. He goes, you haven't heard of this? Looked up this website. Oh, it automatically responds triggered messages to the guest. Boom. He goes, let me get this straight. And you also have keys at your property? No, bro. Keyless entry with a camera. Those 2 things, I got them and implemented in my business. And I went to Spain. And I ran the Airbnbs while I was in Spain for a month from my laptop. Changed my entire life. And then I added on those other properties just like that, dude.
That's great. It's great to see when people figure out how to scale that business, how to take their business to the next level, right? It's like, okay, we're doing Rich Dad Poor Dad. We're bringing Tim Ferriss into the mix, right? Everything's all coming together. So that's awesome.
But something I want to point in context, and I'm going to try to limit all my stories because I'm a mindset coach and a business coach. So a lot of that stuff comes in because I'm happy to talk investment. But something I want to make very clear and see if this resonates with you. My big push right now for everybody is there's a lot of shiny object syndrome, wholesaling, multifamily, Airbnb. I need you to go inward as a person and understand what type of investing fits the lifestyle that you want to live. And what I mean by that is if you're going to get 20 Airbnbs, it's going to make you feel like you have 1,000 properties you're managing. But if you get 3 Airbnbs and you have a great cleaner and they're dialed in, you can be financially free off of 3. So make sure that what you're doing and where you're headed with investing is what you want and not what somebody else wants. It's a very important part.
Yeah, no, that's very true. And we don't direct our investors on what type of investments they should be making, but we work to tailor our approach to what their goal is. So if it's somebody that wants to buy a turnkey property, they don't want to have to mess with rehab or anything like that. We bring them in, we say, hey, you want us just to operate it as is, do a few unit turns? Great. If somebody comes in, they're like, listen, I want to do $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 worth of rehab. Our construction company will handle that. We'll go in and we'll take care of that.
Oh, you have a construction company too?
Yeah, we do. So we have Atlas Construction as well. So
I mean, dude, when are you coming on the podcast? I mean, you have my dream, dude. We got to talk off camera because this is what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
because I want to make something important. This is very important, and I'm bragging on you. I'm bragging on you. There's a lot of people that do business from the front backwards. You're doing it from the backwards forwards. And what I mean by that is the construction company and the property management is the unsexy stuff that is the foundation for being able to branch out in other aspects. It's a lot harder to go front to back, meaning I'm a flipper, I'm a thing, and then I want to install property management. I want to get a construction company. But to build it from the other way around means that you're in it for the legacy play over the quick buck. It's very important.
Absolutely. And one thing that I love about those two, industries, if you will, is that, the brokers come in and we wouldn't be here without the brokers and great referrals. They come in and they get the property across the first finish line, but it's up to us then to operate it for 3, 5, or 10 years and maintain the property over the longevity of the property and bring that long-term value to the investors. And that's really what we're trying to do. Hopefully, it sets everybody up for success along the way as well. And we're not just in it for the quick hit or the quick buck.
I have a business idea I'm going to give you off camera, but I'm not going to share it on here because I don't want anybody to steal it. So
I like the sound of it. All right, let me ask you a couple of quick questions. So what for you, so you did Airbnb property management, but What
And
is
I have a long-term renter now,
okay?
too. So we're doing both. Now, granted, guys, look, this is like a diamond in the rough. Don't think this happens all the time, but guess what my well, guess what my tenant does? He's a contractor,
Oh, that's a good
and
one.
he's rented for 3 years, and he loves it. And guess what? I was in Washington hiking, and he goes, "Your ceiling's leaking from the AC. There's water damage everywhere." He goes, "Don't worry about it. Have fun hiking." And he goes, "I got bored. I fixed everything, redid the sheetrock, and painted the whole house."
Yeah, those don't come around very often, ever actually.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So what's one thing a property manager, you've managed other people's properties, what's one thing that they can do to bring the most value to an investor?
The number one thing that gets people wrong is they try to hide negatives.
Okay.
By you hiding it and not communicating to somebody, you are actually setting yourself for a big trouble.
Okay.
If you just put it out there and address it right away, it's when people get surprised that their emotions go to the roof, and then you've got a bigger problem.
Okay. Okay. I like that. So communicating with the owners about
The
and
number
whether
one
it's
rule in
negative.
Airbnb is if you have a negative in a property, you point it out from the beginning.
Okay.
It's when people get, dude, here's the deal. My property's in a changing neighborhood, I'm not lying to you. My neighborhood was not great when I first
Mhm.
bought the house.
Okay.
And we were getting all these messages, but then I got so many, 300 reviews, nobody cared. But then my new property, people were complaining. Well, what we did is we wrote a message. Guys, this is not a cookie cutter neighborhood. This is the oldest neighborhood in San Antonio. If you want a regular house in a nice suburb neighborhood, this ain't your property.
Hmm.
Guess what? You know how many questions we got after that? Zero.
I like it.
From the beginning.
Yeah, no, that extra communication up front is awesome and huge. So wonderful. Well, Austin, I think that kind of wraps up our time. I really appreciate your time today. Thank you so much, and hopefully we can continue a relationship. And I wish you the best of luck growing your business.
I appreciate it, my man. Thank you for having me on. Just beyond honored and appreciate the opportunity to share some stories.
All right, have a great day.